Fear and anxiety about the COVID-19 pandemic can be overwhelming and cause strong emotions, particularly for older adults and their caregivers. Edith Gendron and the Alzheimer's and Dementia Resource Center is focused on how to support caregivers during this crisis. Edith, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
What are the components of the increased stress that caregivers feel during a crisis like this?
Well, when we talk about caregivers caring for someone in their home, they're already stressed. You can't do that job without being stressed. So now we're adding to it being isolated more so than they normally are. They are probably worried about how they're going to get enough food to feed their families. There is still a lot of panic buying, a lot of empty shelves out there. There is a large group of caregivers who usually send their person that they're caring for to an adult daycare. And with those avenues closed, now they're home. They may not have the skills to care for someone across the board all day for that. They are dealing with someone often who, meaning the person living with Alzheimer's disease or other form of dementia, who doesn't process the way they once did. So if you've got that newscast going where you're hearing all about these things that are frightening, you could possibly precipitate I don't know, crisis is a strong word, but negative reaction in the person living with the illness because, again, their processing is different. The help that they may get that comes in the home may no longer be available because maybe the help got sick. You know, there's a whole lot of anything that you and I are feeling is now added to as additional stressors to an already very stressful situation.
So the phone calls you're getting have got to be really, really intense these days because the caregiver is stressed, the person who is living with Alzheimer's or dementia is stressed as well, and then there's probably other family members. What are those phone calls like?
You're right, they're very stressful. So what we do is we let the person talk. We need to hear what's going on, and oftentimes just the talking will help someone reduce their stress a little, and then we offer practical advice. Over the phone, we can talk you through difficult situations. We can give helpful hints. We can give specific strategies given your unique situation. So we're doing that. We are also being proactive and doing calls that we're calling telephone reassurance. We're doing them in order of what we think is the priority of our caregivers and the persons that they're caring for.
And I would imagine also that the 24-hour news cycle doesn't help the caregivers to reduce their stress levels. What kind of advice do you give them about consuming information, but also having, too much information?
Yeah, I'm honestly going to say just turn it off. Watch a certain amount, maybe 30 minutes at noon. If it's something that's critically important that you need to know, it'll be announced. You can look at social media. There, specifically Facebook right now, everybody is on Facebook trying to do pleasant things that we don't normally see, things like that. On our on our Facebook, we are putting up hopeful, cheerful things. Hope is not a strategy, yes, I know, but it's also very important to be able to stay as cheerful as possible with this. So stay away from the news and avail yourself of joyful things, peaceful things.
And for a caregiver, it really does take a village. What can neighbors and communities do to help in really getting through this really stressful time? Exactly
that, help. Say to the person who is the caregiver, look, I'm home from work, I've got 30 minutes to spare, why don't you go for a walk, I'll sit in the living room. Our caregivers all need to be able to take time for themselves. They cannot do this job without having a period of time where they just don't have that responsibility. They cannot do it themselves, so offer to help. If you're an extended family and your family members are not available to come and help, then use your neighbors, use your faith communities, and everyone should be stepping up if they know, it's pretty rare that you don't know someone in that situation or that setting. So give them a call and say, how's it going? What can I do to help?
And I would imagine also that the caregiver themselves are worried about getting sick. And what do you tell them about their own health?
To do exactly what we're being told to do. First off, managing stress is the key. Stress is hugely influenced. Our health is hugely influenced by stress. So do exactly what you're being told. Stay 6 feet apart, wash your hands, stay home as much as possible. But again, go out, not in groups, but go out, take walks, be in nature. Nature is calming. If you've got a pool, go for a swim. Those sorts of things.
Well, Edith, thank you so much for your wisdom in how we can help our family caregivers throughout this pandemic. And of course, you can stay tuned for more informational segments right here.